Hello and welcome to this channel. The great Egyptian Queen Cleopatra is perhaps one of the most famous women in history. There have been many films made about her life, but what was her life actually like? This is the first part of our documentary series all about Cleopatra. In this episode, we will go over how she was born, who her family was, and how she became queen. Let's get into it. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC in the city of Alexandria. She was born to King Ptolemy XII and his sister Cleopatra V. Try not to get too confused with all the names because it will all be explained throughout the series. Cleopatra was their only child together, but she had several half-siblings from her father's previous marriages, one of them being her father's son from his first wife, Berenice, whom he married while Cleopatra's mother was still alive. Can you imagine the awkward family gatherings when Cleopatra was born? Her father gave her the title of Pharaoh, which is usually given to the king. This was a way for him to give Cleopatra a higher status than her mother. The reason he did this was so that when he died, Cleopatra would be able to take over the throne immediately without any complications. You see, back then in Egypt, you could only be pharaoh if you were male, so by giving Cleopatra the title of pharaoh, she was able to bypass the male-dominated line of succession. Cleopatra was a member of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which was a Greek dynasty that ruled over Egypt after Alexander the Great's empire fell apart. When Alexander died, his general, Ptolemy I, took control of Egypt and established a new capital in Alexandria. Eventually, Ptolemy's descendants took the throne, but although they were Greek, over time they took on more and more Egyptian customs. While Cleopatra was considered Egyptian, she was more Greek than Egyptian herself. Her mother tongue was actually Koine Greek, and she most likely never learned to speak Egyptian. It was only under Cleopatra that Egypt started to embrace its Egyptian identity again instead of shunning it. Growing up, Cleopatra was tutored by her father, and she was taught the skills needed to rule, such as mathematics, medicine, economics, and many more. She most likely had a luxurious childhood. After all, her father was a very wealthy man. He kept much of Egypt's wealth in his capital, causing the city to become one of the richest in the Mediterranean. Cleopatra's mother died when she was only 14 years old, and just 3 years later, her father also passed away. He had designated Cleopatra as his heir, but he also named her to marry her 10-year-old brother, Ptolemy XIII, so that they could rule as a married couple. Marriage between siblings was actually quite common in the Ptolemaic dynasty. In fact, it was the norm. Most of the Ptolemies intermarried to keep their bloodline pure. Yikes. So Cleopatra married her little brother. But it wasn't all sunshine and roses. Just 3 years after their marriage, Cleopatra had their first child together, a boy named Ptolemy XV. Soon after his birth, though, Cleopatra put him in the care of her female servants and went off to have her second child, a girl named Cleopatra Selene. It seems as though she didn't really want to have children. It was round this time that Cleopatra began to feel threatened by her own brother. She had become the ruler of Egypt at the age of 14, but Ptolemy XIII was now coming of age and becoming more powerful. For some reason, Cleopatra tried to get rid of him so that she could rule alone. She plotted with a Roman general named Pompey to kill Ptolemy, but it didn't work out the way that she hoped. Instead, she was forced to flee to Rome with her children. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more historical tales. In the next episode, we will continue Cleopatra's story where she tries to make a new life for herself in Rome.